to the camera.
Okay.
Just tell us what grade and everything, classroom that you just taught, and then after that you don't have to text the camera.
Okay. My name is Megan Galvin, and I teach 10th grade English at the Scholars Academy in Rockaway Park.
You know, comments on it.
Yeah, there's that too.
Let's do that one more time.
Do that again? Okay. My name is Megan Galvin, and I teach 10th grade English at the Scholars Academy located in Rockaway Park.
Beautiful. All right, so we want to find out about the decisions you made in planning for this lesson and how it connects to students' prior skills and knowledge. What was before this lesson and what came after it?
So this lesson comes as part of a unit on helping students analyze poetry independently. So prior to this lesson, they've had multiple lessons on how to analyze poetry, and we use this acronym, SIFT, looking for instances of symbolism, imagery, figurative language, tone, and theme. So they've done like a shared reading of the poem. I've modeled reading the poem aloud, and I've been having them work more on their own to try to annotate the poetry and look for examples. So this lesson is part of a culminating activity where students will be able to really independently read a poem on their own, maybe not understand every nuance, being that they are in 10th grade, but feel like a little bit more confident and independent in that.
What standards or clusters were targeted in this lesson?
So in this lesson, it's really the Reading Literature Standard 1, where students have to cite strong and thorough textual evidence to support their claims, and also Speaking and Listening Standard 1, where students are engaging in collaboration and comprehension, really, to further their understanding of a work. So they're coming to conversations prepared with their own questions and using those active discussion and listening techniques, and they're also providing feedback on their fellow classmates' ability to have those conversations.
Excellent. Let's see, so how does this lesson illustrate the shifts required by the CCSS?
I think one of the big shifts that's present in this lesson is there's a lot more student ownership. Had I taught this lesson 6 or 7 years ago, it might have looked very different. Typically teachers would have, before the Common Core shifts, provide their own questions for discussion, varying in range from basic comprehension to a deeper understanding of the text, where one of the big shifts is that students really have ownership. Another thing is that everyone is reading the same poem. So some students might have difficulty comprehending the text, but instead of giving them a less challenging poem, I would provide different scaffolds and supports to help them gain that comprehension.
Excellent. Is this text, is the text part of a sequence of text designed to build skills and knowledge, or is it just a single?
This is part of like a unit of poetry that is addressing a similar theme. We really want to expose students in 10th grade to literary criticism. Part of my role as a 10th grade English teacher is to prepare our students for the advanced placement courses that they'll take in 11th and 12th grade. So normally we wouldn't expose students to literary criticism until those later grades. So this poem falls in line with a set of poems that deal with a similar theme. And this is one of the later poems in that sequence.
Excellent. Do you know which of the core action indicators this lesson best exemplifies?
I feel like it addresses all of them, but most specifically, I feel like the third core action, where the students are really engaged in the practice. Like the lessons previously, they had to cite the textual evidence, they had to read and comprehend, and core action 3, they really have to take the ball and run with it, and they're challenging one another in their conversations, using the questions that they've developed to help deepen their comprehension and understanding. So I have like more of a hands-off approach. Not every lesson looks like this one because they have to get there, but I feel like the third, core action is most present in this lesson.
So how did you support all students in working with grade level texts, like for scaffolding?
So when we first read the poem, some students were grappling just with the basic understanding, and then I have some students who are able to dig right into the symbolism and the theme that are present, which are really higher order thinking skills. So what I would do is I would group the students accordingly. My students are grouped in triads, so you have like a higher level student, a medium level student, and then like one of my lower performing students. So I would provide assists through modeling, doing the shared reading, and then those other students would also help support.
Excellent. So I suppose we've actually gone through quite a bit of questions. This is good. So you talked about core action 3. Yeah, it looks like you kind of covered that one, unless you wanted to go a little bit more in depth with core
Let
action
me just
3.
take a look at the. Yeah, I could go into that a little bit more. So I feel like this lesson really demonstrates core action 3 the most, because all students have the opportunity to engage with the text and to participate in the lesson. Previously, if this lesson had been done before the Common Core shifts and before I really experienced Socratic seminar in my classroom, perhaps 20% of the students would have engaged. Even if most of them looked like they were paying attention and participating, every single person has a role, both as a participant in the conversation and also as a listener. And there's evidence of that collected at the end. So it really is students engaging with the work in a very active way. And they're held accountable for that. And there has to be evidence at the end.
What do you think worked particularly well for this lesson?
I think that the students' level of questioning has really improved, and I think that their questions were very well written, and I think that helped carry the class and the conversations forward. I think that they were very much on task, and they were able to self-direct themselves when they felt like they were, they had exceeded the amount of time, or when they had really exhausted all the questions, they were able to think on their feet and continue moving forward and not go off task.
Beautiful. That's it.
I think that's it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Great job.
Thank you. All right.
Done.
Fun.